What the hell is Saw Sports or whatever that last call was talking about? What the hell is that?
They're from Free Love, man.
What is up, Sauce Nation? It is your boy Hector Flores coming with you with pretty much my recap for the prelims for the Houston Dash. Obviously, the Dash will be moving on to the knockout rounds because they finished in fourth, which didn't really matter because all 8 of the teams were going to move on to the knockout round anyways. But they finished in fourth with 1 win, 1 draw, and 2 losses. You could take that for what you want, but you know, regardless, they were going to move on to the knockout stage. So I'm going to talk about the prelims overall. What can I take that's positive? What can I take that's negative? And what are my expectations for the knockout stage? And stay tuned in the future because we will be doing a preview for their upcoming game against the Utah Royals for the knockout rounds. But if you guys want more content from the other teams of Houston, like the Astros, the Dynamo, the Rockets, and other teams in the Houston area, like the Houston Dash, make sure you get subscribed to Sauce Sports TV and click on that notification bell so you'll be notified when we do drop these videos. As well, if you guys want more of an interaction from guys from Sauce Sports like me and Honcho, guys from the Roundtable like Wink, Tinny, any of those guys, man, make sure you guys join the Patreon. You sign up for that $5 tier. It will put you on our Discord where you will get part of a lot of discussions, a lot of great conversations coming. That it does get heated every once in a while, but it's all love at the end of the day. So without further ado, let's get going with this video. So in the 4 prelim games, the Dash were able to score 5 goals, allow 6, had 48% possession, had 4 yellow cards, and 8 offsides. I think the glaring issue is the fact that Dash needed to score goals. Now, people are probably going to be like, well, the defense gave up 6 goals. That's not good. But if you think about it, if you look at it statistically, that means that they have only allowed under 2 goals a game. 2 goals a game. I know that sounds like a lot, but at the same time, that they're holding these teams to less than 2 goals a game average. That's actually not that bad. The attack needs to score goals. Obviously, the rule of thumb, if you score more goals than the other team, you're obviously going to win. And I think that that's the glaring issue. Now, the other thing to take away from this, man, there was 2 different tales from the Dash. And that was the first 2 games and the last 2 games. In the first 2 games, a lot of people got excited about the Dash. Looked like they could be a real contender. And they probably still can be. In the first 2 games, the Dash had a total of 12 shots, 7 of them on target. Obviously scored 5 goals. Had possession of 52% in these 2 games, which is obviously an average. They had 2 yellow cards and were caught offside 3 times. Now, the Utah game. Now, I understand a lot of people are going to say that it should have been 4-3, but I'll even go even further. It should have been 4-1 because that was a terrible way to give up 2 goals in those final in like near the end of the game, where the Dash honestly gave up a win. That was really what it was for me. I understand that Rachel Daly got robbed, and I'm with everybody else about that one, but that would have, going into that game with a big win against the host team, would have been huge for the Dash, and obviously it didn't happen. They gave up those 2 goals. One was off of a mistake that led to a free kick goal. I'm not necessarily going to give too much on that one. And then the other one was just a poor set piece that Dash didn't recover quickly on. And that's how you got the 3-3 draw. Once again, I know it should have been 4-3, but I'm going to spin zone it for you guys. It should have been 4-1. Now, the Olympic Lyon Reign, it was a team that the Dash have struggled with over the years, and were able to get a 2-0 win. Once again, they looked solid attack-wise. Defense was obviously a shutdown. A shutout is always a good thing, but it was such a really good game, and so you had high hopes now. You were excited. And then the last 2 games happened. In the last 2 games, the Dash had a total of 4 shots. Not a single one on target, and obviously no goals. Had a possession of 44%, which isn't terrible. Had 2 yellow cards and were caught offsides 5 times. That Sky Blue game, I'm just going to say this, should have been a rest day. It should have been a rest day. And the reason why I say that is because you came off of 2 really good wins. You came off with positive points. You still got points. You got a win and a draw. You should have rested your players on that game, because it's a 4-game prelim, and then you're going into knockout. You have to get your players rested, your core players rested. And when I say core players, I'm talking Rachel Daly, Shake Room, Christy Mewis, and your backline duo in Oyster and Nodden. The rest can play. I'm fine with that. But you need to get your core players the rest that they need. Rachel Daly was already getting beat up as it is with everyone. She felt like she was getting hit the ground like multiple times throughout this tournament. So I definitely think that should have been the rest day. You're going up against Sky Blue, a team that has yet to have scored a goal at the time, and you give them 2 goals, and it was off of just terrible mistakes. And the big issue is, I think that also people kind of figured out the Dash. The Dash have been playing from the back, which means that their back line is kind of who's starting the attack. And honestly, the best way to go up against a team that does that is by high pressing. You put pressure up them in front. It could honestly work out for the team that's pressing them, because obviously they can, one crossing mistake, then they make a run for a goal. Or if it doesn't work for them, then they just kind of got exhausted for nothing. And unfortunately, it was the first one that they were able to cause a lot of pressure. So they rushed that back line and they made mistakes. So the thing that it sounds weird is the Dash were rushed, and then they were slow in building up attacks, which explains as to why they only had 4 shots in the final 2 games. Possession, like I said, isn't a big issue. And then offsides. The fact that you're taking too long to build up some plays, you got a player that sees an opportunity to make a big play, maybe even score a goal, and when you're just taking too long to let that move happen, they get caught offside. There needs to be more urgency in the attack. In those last 2 games, if the urgency was there, I feel like these games could have at least been a draw or better, and it wasn't there. Like I said, man, I know the defense had some mistakes, but they did end up tightening up afterwards, and that's something that you need to at least give credit to the defense for some, because honestly, that Sky Blue game could have been a lot worse, and it didn't. It ended at that. After that second goal, they kind of just tightened things up afterwards. It's just the fact that the attack just didn't do anything, and that's the part that I have a problem with. And like I said, had that Sky Blue game, if they had rested their core players, that Washington game could have been completely different. It could have been something big for them. They could have finished with that 2nd seed. They were in prime position to be in the 2nd seed, and now they're not. They're now sitting at 4th. But yeah, that is honestly what kind of happened in those prelim games. I don't want to go any further because I don't want to make this video longer than it needs to be. So let's get going with my expectations. So my expectations, I'm honestly going to stick to what I said from the beginning when I did my first video for the Dash, and that is go out there and compete. I'm not really expecting a lot from this tournament. I mean, I like what I saw from the Dash in the first 2 games, but the second 2 games honestly have given me some issues. But if they're able to bring back and do what they did in those first 2 games, and not only do that, but make it better, double it if you can, they're going to look really good. I mean, if that attack can catch up to what the defense is doing, they're going to look really good in this tournament. They might go even very deep in this tournament. Those last 2 games really made me feel very hesitant to say those things. And the thing is, once again, you gotta get better on the attack. I know maybe some people are going to say defense has issues. And I mean, you can say what you want. That's your opinion. That's how you feel. But the attack is the bigger problem. The fact that your defense is at least allowing less than 2 goals a game should tell you that it's not necessarily the defense. It's the attack. But that's just me. I understand that they made stupid mistakes, and I get that. But if that's what the other teams are capitalizing off, is just mistakes, is hoping for a mistake. Because like I said, after they gave up those 2 goals in the Sky Blue game, they tightened it up, and you didn't see another goal after that. The Washington game, after that 1 goal, they tightened it up. You never saw another goal after that game, after that goal. So I think the thing is, the attack needs to start helping that defense, because the fact is also, if the ball's on the other side of the field, the defense has time to rest, adjust themselves, and get ready for the next attack that's coming their way. If you're scoring goals, you're lining up the load for the defense. You don't want this defense to carry you all all throughout this tournament. You don't ever want the defense to carry you all throughout a tournament. You want your defense to be as rested as possible, so that way when it comes to that big crucial moment where that mistake could happen, they're alert and ready for that mistake, and they jump on it and they prevent anything from happening. But that's just my thoughts. That's my expectation. Just go out there and compete. But if you really want to win this, you got to fix the attack. The attack needs to get better. They need to find whatever they did in those first 2 games and double it. And I think that they will win this tournament if they do that. So there is my recap for the dash in the prelims of the Challenge Cup. So far, I've actually liked this tournament. It's a very fun tournament. I like what I'm seeing. These girls are putting everything out there, man. It's a good time. I think that they look great, and I'm glad that they're the ones that really are the first professional team sport playing in the U.S. So I'm really kudos to them. I think they've done really well. Yeah, there's a few hiccups, but I think that I'm glad that they're able to be the first ones to go. But yeah, shout out to all of them, man. You know, props to all of them. Hopefully the dash can get better. You know, dash can readjust from those last 2 games and move forward. Their first game will be on July 17 against the Utah Royals. Stay tuned for that video where I preview that game, which hopefully should be up before the game. But that's all I really got, man. If you guys like this video, please like. If you got something to say, go into the comments and subscribe to Saucy Sports TV. Please click on that notification bell so you will be notified when we do drop videos, and as well as when we do our live streams on every Tuesdays and Thursdays around 6. So that's all I got for this video, man. Chuck it up a deuce. Y'all stay saucy.
Perfect.